You're listening to Entrepreneur Encounter, the podcast where soft skills meet real talk for creative business owners who are building with purpose. I'm Dana, a Pinterest marketing strategist and agency owner helping wedding pros and creative entrepreneurs get seen without burning out.
And I'm Sarah, a business and team strategist who helps small teams and podcasters communicate clearly, lead with empathy, and grow sustainably. Together, we're unpacking the messy, meaningful side of entrepreneurship, from boundaries to burnout, leadership to listening, so you can build a business that actually fits your life.
A client just left, you got a bad review, or maybe it was just a slow month and the numbers aren't where you wanted them. And instead of thinking, okay, what do I need to adjust? We dive straight into what is wrong with me. If that sounds familiar, I promise you're not broken. You're very much human, but you are doing something that a lot of entrepreneurs do without even realizing it. You have fused your identity with your business, and it is a very easy thing to do. And when that happens, every setback stops feeling like a business problem, and it starts feeling more like a verdict on your worth as a person. So today we're unpacking why that happens, how to recognize it, and what it actually takes to separate you from your business without losing your passion for it. Because this is not about caring less. It's really more about learning to lead from a steadier foundation.
If you ever cried over a lost client, I think I've done that in the beginning of my business. Like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I just lost a client. You know, lose sleep over a slow season. I mean, I think we've all been there in the slow seasons, or question everything after one piece of negative feedback. This episode is for you, so keep on listening. We are going to cover 3 things today. What identity fusion or overlap is, what that is, and why it happens to entrepreneurs specifically, why it quietly makes your business decisions worse, and how to start building the separation that actually protects both you personally and your business. So real quick, before we dive in, we want to tell you about something we are really excited about. It's called the Spotlight Swap. And this is how it's going to work. We collaborate with fellow business owners through a simple but powerful exchange. We're going to feature you on our Entrepreneur Encounter newsletter, and you're going to feature us in yours. That's it. I mean, there's no budget. There's no complicated partnership. It's just 3 or more businesses helping each other out to get in front of new audiences. If this sounds like something you want to be a part of, the form to apply to the Spotlight Swap is going to be linked in the show notes. We would love to swap spotlights with you. So go check that out. Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's start at the root. Identity overlap is when the line between you as a person and your business essentially disappears. And it makes complete sense that this happens, especially when you're a solopreneur. You built this business, this brand from scratch. You put probably your literal name on it, all of your time, your values, your vision. In a lot of ways, your business is an extension of you. So of course, when something doesn't go right or you get negative feedback, it does feel personal, because of all the things that I meant, like, you've put so much into it, your own everything. But the difference between your business being connected to you and your business being you are 2 different things.
And when this overlap happens, you know, a lost client becomes proof you're not good enough. You know, I've lost clients and I always thought, okay, well, I'm not good enough, so why keep doing what I'm doing? You know, a bad review becomes a character attack. You might have, let's say, 10 good reviews, and then you get 1 bad review. That's just one. That, you know, I think that we have to kind of figure out, like, what's, you know, the good reviews. You want to keep that win. You know, like, when you get a bad review, everybody's gonna have something to say. A slow month becomes evidence that you made a mistake even when you're trying. None of that is true, but it feels absolutely true in that moment. And what makes it hard to catch? Entrepreneurs are often praised for this level of dedication. You know, you hustle and getting to do all your work and you're getting new clients and but you have to kind of step back and look at what you actually have in front of you. So we don't question it. We don't question, probably we don't question the bad review because we have better reviews somewhere else. We have to just realize that obviously things are going to happen, but just know that it's not necessarily proof that you're not good enough or a bad review is going to make you, lose your business.
I think that's where it helps. I've been hearing it a lot lately, is separate facts from feelings. So your feelings are hurt because you got a negative review, but take a moment to look at the facts of the situation surrounding it. And
Exactly.
I feel like that will help differentiate just a little bit more.
So I want to share a little story with you all. Maybe this will be a little bit relatable for some, but I actually had this conversation the other day and I'm like, I have to talk about this on this episode. So at the beginning of last year, I had a few clients and I actually decided to let go of those clients. And on the surface, that kind of sounds like you're setting your boundaries. I'm winning. That's a win, right? You're setting your boundaries. The reason why I let them go is because they did not align with me. They did not align with my values and my mission. And obviously, as an entrepreneur, you want to work with people that align with you. But I was saying yes to every opportunity that came my way, and that's not really a good thing to do. So I let go of those three clients that I had, and I feel like it made me a better business owner because yes, of course, the money was good, and I wanted to prove something. That's how I felt. I wanted to prove something to my family, to my friends, and say yes, I'm a business owner. I have all these clients, and I went in with I went in without contracts. There was no protection for me. So that there was mistakes made and I owned that. So when I let them go, I felt like a failure. So, and then of course I ended up getting a part-time job because I was in a slow season. Actually, I'm pretty happy now. When you have all these clients that make you feel like you're small and the stress comes with it, and I decided to kind of revamp my business, not necessarily starting from scratch, but doing the work to make sure that I get the right clients in the next 5 years. I want to make sure that I'm good to go and actually everybody that I work with align with me. So with that being said, I believe that that is not a failure. Yes, to me, it was a setback. I thought I was failing, but it's not. I think you have to figure out what your business would look like for you in the long run.
I think that's extremely relatable to so many of our listeners, and I love how honest it is. I know me and you have a running joke at least once a quarter where I'm like, I'm going to get a real job. And I know that's not something, I know I'm not alone when I say that, and I do love what I do so much.
Mm-hmm.
But, so many people just white knuckle through situations and make a different call. They stick with those clients because, they're afraid of not getting something else or feeling that failure. But this distinction that you brought up is setback versus set up. So yes, in essence, you took a step back and got that part-time job, but it's helping you set up a stronger foundation moving forward. And I think that's exactly what our listeners need to hear. I know sometimes I even need to hear that, and I need to be reminded, like, I need to let certain things go, whether it's just my expectations being to a completely too high standard or unrealistic standard, saying yes to the wrong people, blurring boundaries, whatever the case may be. That, like, I need to make sure that I'm setting myself up and my business up for success and not holding on to setbacks, because that's just going to keep dragging me and my business backwards.
Exactly.
So I feel like here's what nobody talks about when it comes to taking things personally. And it's not just painful, but it's actually bad for your business. When you are in that fused state, your decision making changes with your mood swings. You start making moves from fear and not necessarily a sound strategy. Like I said, you're holding on to clients you know you should release because the revenue is there, and that feels safe, because losing them might feel like losing yourself. You're losing revenue, but you avoid feedback because feedback feels like rejection. And that can be feedback you're giving yourself, like, this is not a client for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or you underprice, you consistently over deliver and people please. And I'm not saying don't over deliver in the passions and what's within your scope, but I'm saying over deliver and you're doing things outside of your scope of services because you feel like your self-worth is riding on every single transaction. And here's that pattern interrupt. The entrepreneurs who are scaling sustainably are not the ones who care less. They care a lot. It is evident in everything that they put online. It's evident in every proposal that they send and coffee chat they have. They're the ones who have learned to care very clearly. They can look at a slow month and ask, what is the data telling me? Not what is wrong with me. If you're having a slow month, you probably 3 months ago had a slower outreach than normal. So your pipeline trickled. Or it's seasonal. Weddings are seasonal. You'll have an influx of inquiries a few months out of the year, and then it'll just be kind of a slower, steady flow. And then engagement season comes back. So just, look at the data. It's that shift that we're trying to help you make today in seeing what is the data. Separate the facts and feelings, separate yourself from your business so that you can look at the data, create a strategy, a game plan, a task list, and make it happen.
Yes. From my experience, the overlap, I think because me personally, and probably everybody else out there, like, I don't want to fail. When we feel that feeling, we don't know how to let it go until we kind of look at the data and take a step back and figure out, like, what exactly is going on. So we want to give you a full, or we want to give you some tools to help you, start separating yourself from your business. Yes, it can be challenging because obviously it is your business, it is your thing that you build, your passion. But there's going to be times when we have to separate the two. So, tool number one, you want to name the narrative in real time. So when something goes wrong, notice the story you immediately jump to, not the facts. So you can say, I lost a client is a fact, or you can say, I lost a client because I'm not good enough. That's just a story that you're telling yourself. You want to be able to catch that story that you're telling yourself and label it so that that alone creates the distance. So yes, you lost a client, but you gotta not beat yourself up about it because there's many, many reasons why people lose clients, and it's not because you're not good enough. Because I'm telling you, I think everybody has their own way of doing things, and you're not going to align with everybody. So you just kind of have to, separate that from the distance between you as a business owner and you personally.
Which leads us to tool number 2, which is to create a debrief ritual, not a shame spiral. So using that same example, I lost a client, the same fact, instead of replaying what went wrong on a loop, give yourself a structured question set. Okay, I lost a client. Now let's ask, whether it's to yourself, your favorite entrepreneur buddy, or your AI tool, whatever it is that you need to debrief with, to help you pull the facts. What happened? What was in my control? What would I do differently? What is the next right move? That's a business debrief, not a personal indictment. It's starting to look at the data. What happened to cause the client to move on? Is it purely they lost clients and could no longer afford your services? Are they pivoting and, no longer needing your services? Was there a drop in communication? Like, look at the facts and create that game plan on how to move forward. What's the next right move? What is the next step to move forward?
And then tool number 3, you want to build your identity on your values, not your metrics. Like, your revenue is not going to define you. It doesn't define who you are. Yes, when I had all those clients, I believed I was making good money and I was bringing in great revenue, but I had to it wasn't aligning with that, your client roster does not define you. Your conversion rate does not define you. You are as a person, the integrity you bring, the way that you treat people, that is the stable ground. That's what defines you. When you're anchored there, a bad month is not going to shake your foundation. So yes, I was having a bad few months last year because I felt stuck. Either I keep all these clients that are burning out with me or stay with them because I'm making money. I didn't like the way that I was feeling inside. So I had to obviously let them go. So I think just because you're having a bad month or bad 6 months, it doesn't define who you are.
And then tool number 4 is normalize iteration, meaning every version of your business is just a draft. Sarah let go of clients, regrouped, took a breath, and is now rebuilding with more clarity than she had before. And that's not failure. That's just how businesses actually grow. I was connecting with another entrepreneur. She does business consulting in some form, I believe, and specifically for like medical dental offices and things. She realized she was getting overwhelmed, and the way that she phrased it, and I think I've mentioned it before, correct me if I'm wrong, but she called it a controlled burn of her business. So she regrouped with her team. They took a look at everything. They looked at clients that made them happy. They were lit up to work with. They looked at clients that were no longer, a good fit, and really pulled the data, and that restructured a lot of processes, workflows, their outreach, everything. And so that version of you that is in the struggle right now is not the final version. And you can love something for 5-10 years and then realize I need to start making a pivot, because your life is going to change. You can go from having no kids in a business to 1 kid in a business to 5 kids in a business to taking care of your aging parents in a business to having a home and being work from home, and then you can be a digital nomad. Life changes, and you got to redraft your business to change with you some way, shape, or form. And that doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just a regroup. It's a rebuild. It's clarity on where you want your life to be.
Exactly. It's actually pretty fun, mapping things out and drafting your next chapter, because when you draft that and you write it out, you talk it out, whatever you do, and you're like, wait a minute, I can see myself doing that, so do whatever you need to do to make sure that you are good for you. And I believe everything else will follow after that. So you're going to make good money. You're going to have good people in your circle. And yes, it's going to come with challenges. You're going to feel the feelings of not being good enough. You just got to figure out what's best for you. So here's what we want you to walk away with today. Setbacks are data. Look at the data. I know we keep saying the data, but it is true. I mean, I didn't realize that data was so important until Dana and I started having our L10 meeting. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Your business is something you do. It's not something you are. And separating those two things does not make you care less. It makes you lead better.
If today's episode hit close to home, and I kind of hope it does, I would love for you to share it with your fellow entrepreneur friends and connections who needs to hear it as well. And again, if you want to grow your audience alongside us, don't forget to check out the Spotlight Swap that is in the show notes. We would absolutely love to feature you and help you rebuild and regroup alongside us. Until next time.
You can now follow us on LinkedIn at Entrepreneur Encounter.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If something in this episode gave you a fresh perspective, share it with a friend or send us a DM. We love hearing how these conversations land with you.
And if you're curious about how soft skills can support your next season of growth, we each have more resources to share.
You can find Dana on Instagram at danas.desk.nc for Pinterest strategy and intentional marketing.
And Sarah at your Remberts for team development, business leadership, and podcast support.
Until next time, keep leading with purpose
and growing with intention.